So I raise my hand, I bid, and I buy. And they say, all right, sold to the guy in that funny looking shirt.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I'm back here with Ted Thomas, America's tax lien and tax deed authority. Good to see you again, Ted.
Thank you.
We're going to be talking about tax deed sales today, Ted, and how you can buy a deed at a tax sale and what to do with it afterwards. For anybody who here is watching, and maybe they're new to this whole idea of tax defaulted property investing. Why don't you first explain what's a tax deed, and they just sold at auctions? How does this work, Ted?
Okay, well, the law across the United States in every county is passed by the legislature of that particular state. But all across the United States, every property that has a property tax number, and there's 100 million of those, by the way, every one of those property has a property tax due every year. All right, so the legislature of the state tells the board of supervisors of your county, look, collect the taxes. So they levy the tax. Treasurer goes out there and levies the tax. If people don't pay the tax, they'll put the property in default. So every property in the United States owes the tax. If they don't pay it, every county in the United States has the ability to foreclose and go ahead and seize that property. Now, I say seize it, that means they're going to go out and they're going to confiscate it, push the people off the property, and then they're going to sell that property for the back taxes, because the county must have property tax. So every county survives on property tax. That means that small property tax, all those owners pay that money to the county, pays for the police, pays for the firefighters, pays for the sheriff officers, pays for the schools and the school teachers, pays to fix the roads, and hundreds of other county bills. So the county has the power to seize the property, and they can sell it for as low as the back taxes. They don't mark the property up. So if it's a $100,000 property and it had a $1,000 tax bill, the auction will start at the back taxes, and then it can go up from there. Now, just because it started at $1,000 doesn't mean it's going to sell for $1,000. Right. It might sell for a lot more than that. But that happens in every county in the United States. There's over 3,000 of those counties, 3,000 plus counties, and there'll be at least 5,000 tax auctions every single year.
So Ted, tell me, so let's say I went to an auction and I just bought a tax deed in an auction. Do I own it right away? And can I sell the tax deed property right after, or is there a waiting period? Can I just go and shove a for sale sign up? What's the process after I have the property then? Okay,
the county is the government now. So the government does not move at the speed of Superman or the speed of light. The government just moves slowly. They get so many employees to get things done. But you own the property because you're going to have given them money, and they're going to tell you that they're going to give you a deed, but they have to go to the government office and they have to type it up, and then they have to send it to you. So you actually own the property. So you probably should go down and secure it to make sure everything's okay. If you got a broken window, fix it or whatever, but you don't want to go in and try and push people off the property or do anything with it. Just know that you own it, make sure it's secure. And then when the actual piece of paper, a transfer comes on a deed, when you get the deed, you can sell it. But meanwhile, you can put signs on the property. You can advertise it on Craigslist. You can put it on Zillow. You could put it on Trulia. You can go ahead and start the selling process. Just don't actually sell it until you get the deed. All right. Now, what do I mean by that? You need to wait till you have a physical document or it's recorded at the county records. But I'm not an attorney. I'm not a real estate broker. I'm an investor, just like anybody that's watching me. You want to be an investor. So you just have to follow the rules. And listen, the rules are not that difficult. They're all written on the county website, and anybody can go to get the rules.
Do some states offer property owners a redemption period after the tax deed sale?
There's about 5 or 6 states that when they sell the property, they're going to sell it. So I raise my hand, I bid, and I buy. And they say, all right, sold to the guy in that funny looking shirt. So I get it. All right. Now, when I get it, I'm going to get what's called a redeemable deed. Now, this is power. This is money power that I'm going to tell you about right now. Okay, so let's use 2 examples, Texas and Georgia. I'll just use those 2 so we don't confuse people. All right. So in Texas, they're going to sell you that deed to that property. All right. Now, once I have that deed in my hand, I could actually go to that property and I could fix it if I want. I could, if there was someone there, I could charge them rent. I could do anything I want. All right. But you have the deed to the property. But the property owner in Texas has 180 days to come forward and pay you whatever you paid plus 25%, and then you have to give them back their deed. All right. So the redeemable deed is this. You bought it at the auction. You raised your hand. You bought it at the auction. Went to a place like Harris County in Houston. There'll be 200 of those every month, at least for the 30 years I've been around. All right. So you bought that. You have that deed. You got it in your hand. All right. Now, that owner has 180 days. If they don't show up in that 180 days, you can give you back all your money plus 25%. Now, folks, where are you going to make 25% of your money?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you're going to go to Texas to make 25%. That's why people love this business. All right, so make 25% on your money. All right, now Georgia's a little different. Georgia does the same thing. I raise my hand. I bought a certificate. In other words, I bought the deed. All right, now I hold it. The property owner has 365 days to come forward, 365 days to pay me everything I paid plus 20%. In Georgia, in the second year, it's 30%. The year after that, it's 40%. The year after that, it's 50%. This is a big money business when you learn how to do it.
Well, yeah. And again, even if they come forward and buy it back from you, it's a great return. But let's say I've got this tax deed and they haven't come and bought it back from me. So question, is that enough to sell the property, or do I need to clear the title before I sell it?
When you buy a property, you're buying the property from the government. The government does not warranty anything. The government said, we're going to give you a deed. It might be a commissioner's deed. It might be a treasurer's deed. It might be a tax collector deed. They're going to give you a deed to that property. So you own the property. All right. They are not warranting the condition of the property. That's your problem. Plus, they're not warranting in any way that there's no defects in the title. So when you buy a property, you're going to have to clear the title. All right, you're going to do that by doing a quiet title report. All right, you're not going to have time on this video to talk about that, but I'll definitely do it on a subsequent report. But when you buy from the government, they're not warranting anything, and that includes the title and it includes the condition.
That quiet that you mentioned, I know we've talked about that before, Ted, on other videos, and maybe you want to tell the folks about some of the videos they can see your website and how they can start learning more.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Folks, we do a lot of things. Number one, when people first want to learn, we tell them to come to a one-day, all-day workshop, which is not free, but you can come to that workshop. It's $47 for the whole day. I'm going to show you a quickie video on that here in just a minute. But other things we do, so if you just want to learn more, just stay with these YouTube videos. There's about 400 of those. You just go below me, and what you could do below me is you could go ahead and subscribe, and then you could watch any one of those 400 videos anytime you want. I'm Ted Thomas. I'll see you on the next video.